All right, artists, in this video, I'm going to show you how to work with your sketches that you created to make a design on your cupcake. And I'm going to teach you 3 different techniques. One is a coil, one is a slab, and one is just drawing in some texture or using tools. So I had to choose one of my designs, and then that's going to be the one I'm going to focus on. And I'm gonna go ahead and choose the little unicorn here. And so I'll bring that into the screen every now and then. But before we begin, you will have the top to your cupcake. And right now it's just plain. So I'm going to think about how I'm going to add these shapes to my clay, all right? And when I'm working, I need to think about different techniques. So this is the first one. You're gonna get a chunk of clay in your hand and squeeze it, and this is called a coil. Your mat is gonna get moved out of the way, and then you're gonna use your palm of your hand, that's this part, to roll to the thickness that you want. Now this is gonna be like the horn of my unicorn. I don't want it to be too skinny because if things get skinny, they break very easily. So I'm just gonna kind of like decide the length and give it a tug. And then right up here, since my unicorn has a pointed horn, I'm gonna pinch. And then down here, I wanna pat, pat, pat to make it flat. This is going to get stuck on to here, like so, in a minute. But before I do that, in my sketch, I have a little bit of hair underneath my unicorn's horn. So I wanna make that first. I could use this coil technique to create things like a candle. I could also use the coil technique to create a frosting. I could have used a coil technique to create the trunk of my elephant if I was making my elephant. So I want you to think of your drawing and try to identify what parts of your drawing could you use a coil to build with. And just so you know, if it's frosting, you need a bigger piece because it's gonna get a little longer. And if I was doing frosting here, I would start off with a big ring and then slowly, slowly make it get a little smaller. And that's how it would look like frosting, okay? And if you wanted to cover the whole cupcake, you would need to bring it all the way down. Okay, anyway, so back to my unicorn. I'm gonna make the shape for the hair. And I can simply just get a little piece of clay, press it with my hand, and then find kind of a sharp, pointy tool, like this one maybe, to cut out the shape that I need for the hair. And I want it to kind of come to a little bit of a point. I'm thinking about the size of it, right? And then this will sit here at the top of the head, and then this will be placed on top, like so. Okay, and I can make it a little skinnier and thinner if I want to, just by pinching. So anytime you flatten a piece of clay, it's called a slab. So this is the next technique I'm going to teach you, which is slab work. So anytime you want to cut out a shape and you have to flatten your clay first, you're creating a slab. So this is a coil, this is a slab, and then I can draw texture in, and I'll show you that in a second. The slab technique would be great for the ears, probably for the little nose, definitely for elephant ears. And you see how there's that like frosting right there? So if I wanted to, I could create a slab that's a little bigger by taking a bigger chunk of clay, using my hand, but then I also have rolling pins. You want to make slabs on your fabric because if you don't, it will get stuck to your table. If you make your slab super skinny, it's going to be difficult to work with because it might rip or crack. So don't make it too skinny. Now, if I want to make like syrup dripping, I could make sort of this cloud shape. And then this could get draped over to look like syrup is dripping down the sides. And then remember that little frosting I did? The frosting coil could be added to the top. And then if I wanted to, I could press some texture, which is the last technique. I could press some texture in here Texture is basically just using the tools to create a pattern or a design. And this could look like sprinkles if I wanted some sprinkles. All right, so that's one idea, one way of using slab. For my unicorn, I could just try to cut out the ear shapes and the little nose shape. So I don't want to make it too skinny, but I don't want it to be too chunky either. All right, so the ear shapes are kind of like this, and I'm thinking about the size of the ears that I'm making, and I think this is the right size. And then I maybe want to draw, pressing lightly, just the inside of the ear shape. And then this is how this would start coming together. So this is the hair, and the ears would go here. Maybe they're a little big. No, unicorns have big ears maybe. And then the horn would come here. So far, so good. Now, all of these pieces need to be treated specially. So let me just finish the little nose shape. And then I can even use the back of a tool to create those two little holes. Since it's a unicorn, I don't want it to look like a piggy. So I'll just make those a little more oval-y. And then I plan on drawing the eyes on afterwards, right? And I want to draw the texture of the stripes into the horn as well. So these are all different things that you can do to your clay. But I need to walk to my clay cart because I have to get something very important. It is called Slip. And I'm going to show you this page. These are the steps to attach clay together. First, you have to score, which is another fancy way of saying scratch. Then you need to use slip, stick it on, and then smooth it. This is what the slip looks like. So if I want this hair to stick to this, I have to scratch both pieces. Then I can use a tool to just spread a little. Think of this slip like glue, and then you just stick it on. And then if you see anything that's kind of gushing out, you can use your finger to just smooth it. Okay. So there's the nose is gonna go here, scratch it, scratch the piece that I'm sticking, put a little bit of slip, and then stick it on, press it a little bit, and smooth any areas that you need to, okay? Every single time you have to do this. And I'm telling you, if you don't do it, when the clay is wet, it's gonna feel like it's gonna stay, but as soon as that clay dries out, it's not gonna stick anymore, and all of these little pieces will end up falling off. Because like right now, if I press this, that feels like it's gonna stay, but as soon as it's dry, this is gonna pop right off. And when it pops off, I'll be able to tell the students who did this step or not. Score, which is scratch. Slip, which is glue. Stick, press it on, and smooth. And when I smooth, it looks like I'm kind of rubbing away some of my design that I put in the ear. That's okay. I can redraw that after, right? So this is what you're doing in art today. You're working on getting your design made out of clay. Thank you for watching.